Arsenal versus Atletico Madrid, the semi-final that has all of Europe talking. If you told an Arsenal fan 5 years ago that we would be in a Champions League semi-final with the opposing manager singling out one of our 16-year-old players as the biggest threat on the pitch, they would have laughed you out of the room. But here we are. This is real. This is happening. And it might just be the most exciting tie Arsenal have been involved in for a very long time. Welcome back to Gooner TV. Grab a seat, get comfortable, and let us walk through everything you need to know about this incredible matchup. Arsenal versus Atletico Madrid in the Champions League semi-final. 2 legs, 2 nights, and one young boy at the center of it all. This is going to be a long one, but trust us, every word is worth it. How we got here. Before we get into the details, let us just take a moment to appreciate how far this club has come. Arsenal are in the Champions League semi-finals. 4 wins away from the biggest prize in club football. And we are going there as favourites, even in the away leg, even at the Metropolitano, even against one of the most disciplined and feared defensive setups in European football. Think about that for a second. The Metropolitano is not just a stadium. It is a fortress. It is a place where big clubs have gone and crumbled. The noise, the atmosphere, the pressure from the stands, and the relentless energy of an Atletico Madrid side coached by Diego Simeone can break teams mentally before the game even kicks off. Atletico are built to make you suffer. They are built to suck the life out of open attacking football. And yet, Arsenal walk into this tie as the team with the higher win probability. That tells you a lot about where this Arsenal squad is right now. The group stage already happened. Arsenal won 4-0. Let us not forget this key piece of information. These 2 clubs have already met this season. Back in the Champions League group stage, Arsenal put 4 goals past Atletico Madrid without reply. 4-0. No response. At a stage where Atletico could have parked the bus and ground out a draw, Arsenal dismantled them. Now, group stage results do not always carry over into knockout football. The context is different. The pressure is different. Simeone will have spent months studying what went wrong and building a plan to make sure it does not happen again. Atletico will be a completely different animal in a 2-legged semi-final than they were in a group stage game. But the psychological impact of that result matters. Arsenal have seen Atletico up close. They know they can beat them. They have done it already and done it convincingly. There is no fear in this squad when they think about facing Atletico Madrid. Can you say the same from the Atletico side? After what happened in the group stage, do Simeone's players truly believe they can shut Arsenal out over 2 legs? That is the first interesting question of this tie. The win probability and what it really means. The numbers going into leg 1 in Madrid give Arsenal a 38% chance of winning on the night. Atletico are at 33% and a draw is sitting at 29%. Now, some Arsenal fans will look at 38% and think that is not impressive. But context is everything here. This is an away match. This is at the Metropolitano, one of the loudest and most intimidating grounds in European football. Atletico Madrid are at home, coached by a man who has built his entire career on making home advantage count as much as possible. And Arsenal are still the favourites. In European knockout football, away teams rarely go in as favourites at grounds like the Metropolitano. The fact that the numbers are sitting where they are speaks to how much respect Arsenal have earned this season. It speaks to the quality in this squad. And it speaks to the belief that on any given night, this Arsenal team is capable of going anywhere and winning. So do not be discouraged by 38%. In this context, 38% is a massive statement. Simeone speaks. And when Simeone speaks, you listen. Now let us get to the most talked about part of this whole tie. The quote that had the entire football world buzzing. Diego Simeone, in his own words, said this about Max Dowman. He makes Arsenal create something. We will put 4 or 6 players on him. If he wants a 1 versus 1, he should go play tennis. Read that again slowly. El Cholo, one of the most experienced and decorated managers in the history of European football, is sitting in a press conference and dedicating that much attention to a 16-year-old boy. Diego Simeone does not do this lightly. This is a man famous for keeping everything close to his chest. He rarely goes out of his way to praise opposition players. He rarely gives them the kind of recognition that might boost their confidence going into a game. He is a master of mind games and of controlling the narrative around his team. So when he does speak about a player in this much detail, it is not because he is trying to be nice. It is because he is genuinely worried. It is because that player keeps him up at night. It is because his analysts have been watching tape for weeks and coming back to the same conclusion every single time. This kid is the problem. Simeone did something very similar before facing Barcelona in recent years. He singled out Lamine Yamal. He spoke about Yamal the way you only speak about players who you genuinely believe can decide games on their own. And now he is saying the same things about Max Dowman. Let that sink in. A 16-year-old Arsenal winger has been placed in the same bracket as Lamine Yamal in the mind of Diego Simeone. That is not normal. That is not something you say as a throwaway line. That is a genuine tactical acknowledgement of a genuine tactical threat. Who is Max Dowman and why is everyone so excited? If you have been watching Arsenal this season, you already know who Max Dowman is. But for anyone who is still getting up to speed, let us paint the picture properly. Max Dowman is 16 years old. He wears the number 10 shirt. He plays on the right wing. He has already broken multiple records in a career that has barely begun. He is the youngest Premier League scorer in the modern era. He is the youngest player to make an appearance in a Champions League knockout stage. 16 years old, and he is already in the record books twice over. But records are just numbers. What makes Dowman special is what you see when you actually watch him play. He is a left-footed player on the right wing. This is the modern inverted winger role, and it is one of the most dangerous positions in football when done right. A left-footed player coming in from the right can cut inside, open up his shooting angle, and create danger in ways that right-footed wingers simply cannot. Think about how Barcelona use this profile. Think about what it does to defenses when they cannot push the winger wide because he can hurt you equally going outside or cutting in. Now, here is something that separates Dowman from some of the other young wingers making headlines in Europe right now. He is 6 feet tall. That matters more than people realize. Inverted wingers who are small and nimble can be physically bullied by aggressive fullbacks and defensive midfielders. Press them hard enough, bump them off the ball often enough, and you can take them out of the game. Atletico Madrid have built their defensive system around exactly this kind of physical aggression. But Dowman at 6 feet tall is not going to be physically dominated. You can send one defender at him and he will hold his ground. You can try to press him aggressively and he has the frame to take contact and keep going. That physical presence combined with the technical quality of a world-class winger at 16 years old is an extraordinary combination. This is why Simeone is talking about putting 4 or 6 players on him, because he knows that 1 or even 2 defenders might not be enough. The Yamal comparison, is it fair? Simeone compared Dowman to Lamine Yamal, and that comparison has been discussed everywhere since the press conference. Is it fair? Let us think about it tactically. Both players are left-footed. Both play on the right wing and love to cut inside. Both have the ability to take on defenders in 1-versus-1 situations. Both are the kind of players that opposing managers have to build specific game plans around. The differences are real too. Yamal grew up in Barcelona's system and has been immersed in high-level tactical education since he was very young. He has a different kind of football intelligence, shaped by years of playing in one of the most technically demanding systems in the world. Dowman has come through a different path, but he is clearly learning fast. Playing in an Arsenal side under this kind of management is its own kind of football education. The structure, the pressing, the positional play, the combinations, all of it is making him sharper and smarter with every game. But the physical dimension is where Dowman might actually have an edge over Yamal at this stage. Yamal is smaller and lighter, and there have been games where physical opponents have been able to knock him around and disrupt his rhythm. Dowman, at 6 feet, brings a robustness that Yamal does not have yet. They are different players with similarities in their profiles. But the fact that Simeone is making the comparison at all is the most important part of the story. When a manager like Simeone says your young winger reminds him of the best young winger in the world, that is not a casual observation. That is a warning shot. What Simeone's plan tells us about Arsenal's strengths. Here is something really interesting to think about. If Atletico Madrid are going to put 4 to 6 players in the vicinity of Dowman at any given moment, that means other parts of the pitch are going to be left with less defensive coverage. Think about who Arsenal have in other areas of the pitch. Bukayo Saka, one of the most consistent performers in European football over the past 3 seasons. A player who can operate on the right side and the left, who creates chances, scores goals, and makes intelligent runs. If Atletico's defensive shape is being stretched toward Dowman, Saka has more space to work with. Kai Havertz, a player with the intelligence and movement to exploit the gaps that open up when defenses commit extra bodies to one area of the pitch. Havertz is not a player who forces things. He finds pockets, he times his runs, and when space opens up, he punishes you for it. The strikers, the midfield combinations, the overlapping runs. Everything becomes more dangerous when the defense is overloaded in one area. Simeone knows this. He is a smart enough manager to understand the risk he is taking. The question is whether he believes his players are disciplined enough to manage both the Dowman threat and everything else Arsenal will throw at them simultaneously. If his players can maintain shape while also doubling or tripling up on Dowman, Arsenal will struggle to find the spaces they need. But if that defensive structure cracks, even slightly, Arsenal have the quality in every other area of the pitch to take advantage. This is the tactical chess match that is going to define this tie. Leg 1 in Madrid. What to expect on the night the Metropolitano on 29th April is going to be an incredible atmosphere. Atletico Madrid fans are among the most passionate in Europe, and they know how to create an environment that makes life difficult for visiting teams. But Arsenal in 2026 are not a team that gets rattled by atmospheres. They have played in hostile environments throughout this Champions League campaign, and they have not crumbled. They press, they move the ball quickly, they work hard to control the tempo, and they back themselves to create chances regardless of where they are playing. Expect Atletico to start aggressively at home. Simeone will want his team to set the physical tone early, to press Arsenal high, and to stop them from settling into their rhythm. The first 20 minutes in Madrid are going to be intense. The key for Arsenal is to stay calm during that early storm. If they can get through the first quarter of an hour without conceding, the atmosphere will start to settle and Arsenal's quality will begin to show. If Atletico score early, though, it could get really difficult. The Metropolitano, with a 1-0 lead and the crowd behind them, is one of the hardest situations in football to come back from. That is by design. Simeone has perfected the art of making the away team feel like they are fighting uphill in an avalanche. So the opening exchanges of leg 1 might be the most important 20 minutes of the entire tie. What do you think? Can Arsenal stay disciplined and patient in that opening period, or do you think Atletico will catch them cold? Leg 2 at the Emirates, where the tie could be won. Leg 2 comes to the Emirates Stadium on 5th of May 2026. If Arsenal can come away from Madrid with a draw or even a narrow deficit, the Emirates will be electric for the second leg. Home advantage matters in knockout football, and Arsenal at the Emirates with a full crowd behind them, needing a goal or protecting a lead is a different proposition entirely. The Emirates crowd has grown with this team. They have learned how to create the kind of atmosphere that helps the players on the pitch rather than adding extra pressure. And in a Champions League semi-final second leg, you can expect the stadium to reach a level of noise and intensity that we have not heard in a long time. If the tie is level going into leg 2, Arsenal will be confident. They will be at home. They will have Dowman, Saka, and the rest of the attacking players in front of their own supporters. And they will know that one moment of quality, one bit of individual brilliance from any player on the pitch could send them to a Champions League final. Imagine that. Arsenal in a Champions League final in 2026. It is not a fantasy anymore. It is genuinely within reach. The bigger picture, what this moment means for Arsenal. It has been a long road back to this stage of European football for this club. Arsenal fans who have been here through the difficult years, the seasons of near misses, the nights when Europe felt like a distant dream, deserve this moment. And the club has not just stumbled into a Champions League semi-final. They have earned their place here through quality, through smart recruitment, through development of young players like Dowman, and through a style of football that is genuinely exciting to watch. Max Dowman is the symbol of everything Arsenal are building right now. A 16-year-old who is already changing games at the highest level of club football. A record breaker who plays without fear, a young man that Diego Simeone, one of the greatest defensive minds in the history of the game, feels he needs to plan around with 4 to 6 players. That is not a small thing. That is a sign of where this club is headed. And the beautiful part is that Dowman is only 16. He is going to get better. He is going to get stronger, smarter, more experienced. The records he has already broken are just the beginning of the story. For the community, what does this tie mean to you? Before we wrap up, we want to hear from you. This is what Gooner TV is all about. It is not just about reading analysis. It is about the conversation, the debate, the passion that brings this community together every single match day. So tell us, do you think Arsenal will get a result in Madrid in leg 1, or do you see them holding out for a positive second leg at the Emirates? How do you think Simeone will actually set up to deal with Dowman? Will he really commit that many players to stopping one teenager? Or was that partly press conference mind games? And the big one, do you genuinely believe this Arsenal squad is good enough to reach the Champions League final? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let the debate start right now, because this is one of those rare football moments where everyone has an opinion and every opinion is worth hearing. Final thoughts. Do not sleep on this tie. The draw for the Champions League semi-finals could not have produced anything more compelling than Arsenal versus Atletico Madrid. Two clubs with history, two managers with completely different philosophies, a group stage demolition that adds a layer of psychological intrigue, a 16-year-old who has the entire footballing world talking, and a quote from Diego Simeone that will be replayed and analysed for weeks before the first ball is even kicked. This is why we love football. This is why we are here every week on Gooner TV, breaking it all down, sharing every angle, living every moment together. Arsenal are 4 wins from the biggest prize in club football. Max Dowman is 16 years old and already scaring the best managers in Europe. The Metropolitano awaits on 29 April and the Emirates will be ready for 5 May. Get your calendars marked. Get your group chats ready. Make sure everyone in your circle knows what is coming. This is Arsenal's moment. And if Dowman is as good as Simeone seems to think he is, and if this squad can produce the kind of collective performance that sent 4 goals past Atletico in the group stage, then we might just be watching the beginning of something historic. Stay loud, stay red, and as always, we will see you on match day. Up the Arsenal.